there are certain, because we're early enough in it, certain services, whether it be Vast AI or Chlor AI or Salad or so on, name one of the services, that will pay you for that processing power for now. But it's going to get significantly outpaced, and outpaced a lot faster than crypto did, right? Like crypto took a long time for it to get to where it is now, where unless you're already a large institutional ASIC miner that works directly with Bitmain, you can't be competitive to stay in business at that scale, right? Or even at a smaller scale, it's very difficult to. So then obviously all the miners turn into degenerate gamblers and buy solo miners and never make their money back. Or most of them don't, right? So and then the funny thing is Bitmain's manufacturing those chips anyways too. But with AI, this is happening a lot faster, right? So there might be a while where, you'll find some success in renting out hardware to process AI data sets or whatever. But eventually, it's just going to be NVIDIA doing all the work themselves, right? The question is too, I always have this question because when I've looked it up, it's because obviously when something new comes out, I'm how do you make money with AI? And really outside of building your own chat APIs and selling that to a company, which is extremely difficult to do, there's not a direct way to generate revenue with AI without obviously building a business, focusing on that, and then creating a product, right? So it is what it is. Odin, I know you really want to push solo mining, but here's the deal. You're just wasting money. And it doesn't, you could say it provides more security, but no more than building a node. And you can build a node for free for decentralization. Not necessarily security, because the fact of the matter is a gigahash solo miner is not going to outperform a hacker that hacks the 51% of the hash rate of Marathon Digital, right? So it doesn't really add any security. It could add decentralization, that's a valid argument from a technical perspective. But at the end of the day, so does building a node, right? And one costs you money and one doesn't. So if your reasoning is to make the network better, just build a node. That's my humble opinion. And then if you if you want to gamble, why not just use a CPU too? I mean, I don't know. They're fine. I get it. And I get that everybody wants to sell them and they want to give you the affiliate links are a big deal. There's going to be a lot of reasoning behind it, but the fact of the matter is if you're purchasing a solo miner as a business venture, it's just like buying a lotto ticket. Now, there are cases in which, I've talked about, right, where you have Digibyte, for example, that you can mine on SHA-256. And you can generate some revenue off of that. I think that's that was a thing that makes sense to me. But overall, it's one of those things. I'm not going to go here and be you should buy a solo miner because there isn't a tangible benefit, and all it really is losing money, right? That's all it really is. And okay, I only lose $13 a day. That can be an argument, like Snarks is saying in chat. Fine. If you want to do that, that's okay. I don't think the promotion of it is technically sound or business savvy. I think if you are coming on and being I am somebody who can tell you how to generate passive income by my miner, the way they're generating passive income is selling something that will probably never meet ROI to other people. And I just don't like that. I don't like that at all. And I really honestly think the type of people that do that are trash human beings. I just do. The fact is there's not a viable business model that you can say, okay, let's go back to like GPU mining Ethereum in 2016. You could buy a GPU. There was a reasonable payoff time for that single GPU. You could then reinvest that revenue to buy a second GPU and build a business, right? That doesn't happen with the solo miners. Like it's not a legitimate, and I don't even like the term passive income, but that's not a general passive income strategy that makes sense, right? And so I just don't think, I think that we need to really be careful with like how we're pushing that, right? Now, I do think in the future, what happens, here's what I do think happens, right? Working in the power industry, seeing like what they do with power walls and solar panels and energy storage and stuff like that, okay? I do think you do end up seeing some form of solo miners. They won't be called solo miners, but some form of Bitcoin miners that will be an option for you to install into your home, and the power company will mine on them, and then or the power co-op, and then you will get, you'll get an incentive on your like power bill for running that miner, akin to like running a Nest or providing battery backup to the grid along those lines, right? I think that is the Bitcoin miner in every home end state. I think that will be what it will end up being and looking like. The fact of the matter is it will be like all the rest of those, right? It'll be like, well, my Nest saves me 30 cents a month, right? So it's going to be like that. And maybe they'll have an option of like, oh, you can mine to your own wallet with it, and then you could point to your own pool. Maybe they'll have options like that for people. I think by and large, it's going to be to reduce. I think by and large, what it's going to be is the power companies are going to have miners in every homes. They're going to give incentives to the users. And when the grid usage is low, they will utilize the Bitcoin miners to keep the load average up. And when the load average goes up due to, obviously extreme heat or extreme cold, then they will remotely power down all of those Bitcoin miners that are in people's homes, balance out the grid, and that's how they're going to help balance out the grid. Like that's where I see it going in the future. And that's probably the best business decision overall for power companies and co-ops too, except for, and this is the elephant in the room and the big barrier to entry there, the ever increasing efficiency of cryptocurrency miners for them, right? So the problem becomes, Bitmain coming out with a new, more efficient miner every year. What does the churn rate look like on that? Typically, on, let's say like a typical IT department, you're going to have a 3 to 5 year upgrade range for new equipment, right? Like you get your laptop, you keep it 3 to 5 years in the IT department, you trade in, you get a new one. That's kind of the churn rate. Can you survive on that 3 to 5 year from an efficiency perspective on Bitcoin? Not right now, maybe in the future, because eventually you get, law of diminishing returns, right? So you get to the point where you're able to say, well, like, we've advanced this much, so advancements are going to slow down, right? So I think that'll happen overall. And we got people in chat saying Bitcoin's going, I don't see Bitcoin going up anymore. It's just 110. Tell me when it's 120, bro. It's going to bounce around 110 probably for the day, right? Speaking of, though, so I wanted to say congrats to CoreWeave, I suppose. Give my thoughts on AI, where it's headed. I think it's going to accelerate so fast, and working directly with NVIDIA, I think new startups are going to be extremely difficult. Outside of a software engineering perspective, Which even then, like, I guess like the LLMs are going to do most of that. I don't know. I hope you enjoyed this clip from the Crypto Mining Show. If you would like to see more from this particular episode, take a look up here. Don't forget to also subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support me directly, you can go to sonofatech.locals.com and become a member. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next Tuesday.